everyone, it's Alana and welcome back to my channel for another chapter of Sweetbriars leaving the city. In the last chapter we saw Cate, Tabby and Violet growing closer together whilst at their first day at Pony Club, so now I'm really excited to see what chapter 7 brings. As always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you know when chapter 8 is going to be uploaded. And without further ado, let's start reading. Sweetbriars leaving the city, chapter 7. Cate studied her paint-stained, broken fingernails as she sipped her orange juice, lounging on the green sofa in the tea room. It was late spring, and the weather was mostly warm. It rained regularly, with ominous dark grey clouds filling the sky and showering the fields and gardens, but as quickly as they would appear, they would disappear to leave golden sunshine shining its rays on vivid green fields. Dalesea felt different to Hattersfield, where it had always seemed to be raining, or at least drizzling. Mostly sunny days gave the Sullivans a much-needed boost of energy to get everything done around Sweetbriars. The fields were full of long grass, and Kate's dad had his work cut out keeping it trimmed where there weren't horses grazing. The Sullivans had done a lot of work around Sweetbriars. They'd painted the inside of the house, removed peeling wallpaper from the kitchen, and given the gardens a facelift. They planted jasmine and lavender in the garden beds, and they placed terracotta pots with colourful daffodils and primrose flowers inside the stables and surrounding the dressage arena. Best of all, they discovered Sweetbriars roses growing wildly beside the front gate and in the house garden. Clusters of pink flowers burst from the leaves and emitted a fragrant apple-like scent. Mum was delighted that the farm's namesake flower was in bloom and smelled wonderful. Dad showed Cate and Alex how to paint the show-jumping poles. Before they could paint them, they had to scrub the dirt and moss off them, which accounted for the state of Kate's fingernails. It was tricky work, carefully painting colourful stripes on each pole, and it took all day, but Cate felt a sense of satisfaction after the job. A lot of sweat and patience had resulted in the jumps looking eye-catching and just like new. Dad painted the fences surrounding the arenas a glossy white colour and arranged for a local company to resurface the dressage arena to lessen the amount of dust. Pip seemed to be enjoying his new life at Sweetbriars too. He could often be found sunbathing in the main yard or behind the feed room. He had a big appetite for a tiny kitten, and he had doubled his size. He liked to play with wayward leaves or sticks, but usually stayed near the main yard or the stables. Mickey had chased Pip several times after the little cat tried to eat his food, but Pip was impossible to catch, usually jumping high out of Mickey's reach while the dog danced below him, barking madly. Pip seemed unbothered by this, and usually gave the dog a haughty look. Mickey would eventually give up and go back to his favourite pastime, chasing rabbits in the brush hedges. Sweetbriars was to have an official opening day in the summer. Mum had gained a few clients through word of mouth and was getting more inquiries each week. However, she was still trying to find riding school ponies, and she wanted to have them in place before introducing the community to the farm. The family's excitement was building as each day passed. They had advertised in the local papers, and Cate and Alex had put notices up around the village. In addition to the upcoming opening day, Cate was looking forward to the Pony Club Championship in December. Cate and Tabby were sitting in the tea room looking at the Pony Club website on an iPad. Cate was shocked to see there were no showing competitions on the agenda. "Yes, I'm afraid they cancelled the showing classes after receiving low entries last year," explained Tabby kindly. "Most members said they preferred to enter dressage competitions at Pony Club. For the serious showing riders like you, they preferred to compete in the county shows," Tabby continued. "But I have never competed in dressage before," moaned Cate. "Well, there is a first time for everything, and to be honest, you have the most perfect horse for it," Tabby said enthusiastically. Somehow, Tabby talked Cate into entering both the pas de deux, a choreographed dressage test to music where they'd compete alongside Tabby and Nancy, and an individual dressage test. The individual test was a novice level, which sounded easy, but after going through the test with Tabby in detail, Cate realised it was much harder than she first thought. One balmy evening, not long after this, Cate was lying on her bedroom floor feeling frustrated. She was tracing the dressage test sequences in the air over and over with her finger, or trying to. She couldn't for the life of her remember them. Her mum knocked on the door. Cate replied, "Come in," in a sulky voice. "What are you doing?" asked Mum. "What does it look like?" Cate retorted. Her mum had no idea and looked mystified seeing Cate lying on the ground tracing her finger in the air. "Your supper is ready," she said calmly. "I called you at least 3 times. As Cate sat up, suddenly her frustration turned to despair. Big, fat tears streamed down her face and she sobbed. Mum raced over and joined her on the ground, hugging her shoulders tightly. When Cate felt calmer and her breathing returned to normal, she found her voice. She explained everything. How she was being forced to do dressage at the pony club, how she had stupidly entered the dressage test so she could practice with Tabby, and finally how much she still missed their old home and she just didn't feel like she quite belonged in Dalesea. Mum consoled Cate and suggested she check when Beth could visit, as that would cheer her up. She also promised to run through the dressage test with Cate until it was perfect. Cate felt better after this, like she'd stopped hiding a secret. It had been hard, always plastering a smile on her face to make her family think she was always happy. They had known she wasn't sure about moving initially, but since arriving at Sweetbriars, they'd all bounced around the farm with enthusiasm, and Cate felt like it would be thoughtless or ungrateful to display anything but joy. She wanted to be grown up and support her parents. Still, she found solace in having the horses outside, and to Cate's delight, her mum had found a new horse for Violet, which she was now trialling for a month. A grey, 9-year-old Andalusian gelding that was surprisingly named Spot. Violet's parents agreed to let him stay at Sweetbriars on livery as their personal farm was not equipped for horses. Spot was a gentleman, although during his first days at Sweetbriars he bucked like a rodeo horse, scaring the usually confident Violet. Mum agreed to ride Spot first as she suspected he was simply letting off steam. As soon as she sat on him, he was calm. Like most Andalusian horses, he had an expressive trot. Spot had been brought over from Spain by his previous owner, who then had a baby, so Spot sat in the paddock for 2 years simply being a field ornament and going on the odd hack. As a result, he wasn't very educated, but was very obliging and he knew how to jump. Another day, when neither Violet nor Cate's family were riding, Cate decided to go on a hack in the forest alone. She left Sweetbriars via the lane, passing the strange neighbour's house. Since their first encounter, none of the Sullivans had seen the 3 strangers, and Cate realised she had forgotten about them. As Cate turned out Sweetbriars, she could see the red-haired girl up ahead. It looked like she was going somewhere. She had an ancient-looking green push-bike with a phone attached to the handlebars. The temperature was over 20 degrees, and in contrast to Cate's short-sleeved polo shirt, the girl wore long sleeves, jeans, trainers, and a hat. She was sitting on the bike but had one foot on the ground while she fiddled with her phone. She looked up, startled at the sound of Odette's hooves on the road. She regarded Cate and Odette, but said nothing. Cate was curious about her, and glad to have to run into her again. She had been taught that it was polite to acknowledge your neighbours, so she called out, "Hello there, I'm Cate. We're your new neighbours." "Well, not that new, actually. We moved in a few months ago," Cate said with a polite smile. The pale girl stood quietly for a few seconds before replying timidly, "Hi, I'm Sophia." Her eyes focused on Odette. "What a beautiful horse," she went on, looking somewhat wistful. "Thank you. This is Odette." "Hi, Odette," said Sophie, looking squarely into the horse's soft eyes. "Can I pat her?" she asked, sounding bolder. "Sure, she loves pats," Cate said encouragingly. Sophia climbed off her bike and put the bike stand on. She approached Cate and Odette with folded arms and looked the horse in the eye again. Odette stamped her front leg, getting a little impatient at standing around, and Sophia jumped. "Don't worry, she won't hurt you. She's just impatient as we're going for a walk in the forest," said Cate. "Oh, okay," replied Sophia, and she put her hand tentatively on Odette's silky neck. She brushed her hand across Odette's hair, remarking how soft it felt. After a minute or so, her gesture turned into more of a pat. Sophia had her other hand in her pocket and rustled something. Odette saw this as a sign that she had a treat and pushed her nose into Sophia's hip. Sophia let out a small, shrill scream and jumped back. Cate started at the unexpected scream, then giggled. "Don't worry, Sophia, she won't hurt you. She's just looking for treats." Sophia's pale cheeks went red, and she apologised. Cate explained it was best to be still and quiet around horses so as not to scare them. Sophia apologised again and told Cate she hadn't been around many animals in her life, so she didn't know how to react to them. Sophia gave Odette another pat, looking more natural this time. Then she said she'd better be going as she had something to do. At that moment, Cate heard the sound of a blind closing. Someone had been watching them from Sophia's house. The girl looked at the window and then back at Cate. She said a hasty goodbye and jumped on her bike. As she did this, Cate noticed what looked like a doll's head poking out of the cane basket attached to the front of the bike. The doll had a head full of black matted hair with brightly painted lips. Sophia sped off towards the forest, and Cate was bewildered at their exchange, and particularly at the doll. Afterwards, Cate updated Alex about what she saw, and Alex said that Sophia's dad reminded him of a Russian spy from the movies. They debated various conspiracy theories as they did their stable chores that evening, the ideas becoming ever more grandiose and silly. As Cate was putting Godette's evening blankets on, she had an aha moment. She hadn't imagined the shadow at the back of Sweetbriars that first day. It must have been Sophia. And that is all from Ella and I today. I really hope you enjoyed reading chapter 7 with me. I cannot wait to see what chapter 8 brings us. As always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so you know when chapter 8 is going to be uploaded. And if you have any questions, comments or reviews, feel free to put it in the comments below, or message me on my social medias at Alana Clark Equestrian on Instagram and Facebook, or ace_equestrian on Twitter. And from Ella and I, it is goodbye!